Welcome to Padlet, the discussion board app. The first thing that you need to do is open up the app and then go to create a new Padlet. When you create a new Padlet, you will get a number of options around what type of Padlet you want to do. The first thing that you're concerned with is getting the code that you can then share with the rest of the class. Once you've shared this code with them, they will be able to post to your Padlet. You will, of course, be able to moderate it. You'll find the code at the bottom of the screen here, starting with 1BF. If you highlight it, copy it, and then paste it into an Outlook mail, you can send it to all the class. Obviously, you can always put it up on the board as well, and they can just take it down. So they go into Padlet, sign on as a guest, and they put in that code in order to get onto your Padlet. That means that you can ask a question, and then anybody within the class can post to the Padlet. So it's as simple as that. Type in your class name, and then press send in Outlook, and they will be sent the code. You then have some options around the design of your Padlet. So there are a number of wallpapers, different backgrounds, etc. You can section up different parts of the Padlet. This can come in useful depending on what type of question you're asking the students to do, whether you want them to synchronize, to organize, to reorder, to compare, to contrast. All of these are possible with the different backgrounds that Padlet offer. So select your Padlet and then continue on Within this part of the app, you can also decide what the collaborators can do. It's best at first to just let them write. At this stage, you can insert a title for your Padlet and a subtitle, which normally I would use as a question. At that point, the Padlet is set up, the background is set up, and you've shared your code, and the kids can start to put up their answers to the Padlet. For the sake of this demo, I'm just going to be putting up the answers myself in order to populate the Padlet as quickly as possible. And once we have all of these together, then we'll see what we can do. The benefit of this is that once the kids put in their answers, you have them all there digitally, and rather than the students having to take them down into the copy and the time that takes, instead you can start to get them to manipulate the answers. In other words, that they can prioritize them, they can reorder them, they can compare them, contrast them. And so their time is spent working with the material and applying their knowledge as opposed to just taking it down. So this is now what the Padlet might look like after the kids have had some time to work on it and put up some suggestions. You as the teacher can moderate and delete them very, very quickly by just clicking on the three dots beside any written statement. And now you have them in a big block like this, and you can ask the students to do a number of different things. One of the first options that you can do is you can get them to organize the answers into different sections by getting them to colour. Just by clicking on the three dots, they can change the colour, and you can very quickly set them a task with differentiation, and they can mark that out. So very quickly you can see how that could happen. And you could organise them. In this instance, it's the difference between primary, secondary and tertiary work that people can do. So here you can see moving one block or one tile, which reorganises the others. And once you have shared this with the students, they can be doing the reorganising themselves. If it's a particularly difficult task, they could be doing it in groups. And it's very, very simple. You press and hold on the tile, you'll see the magnifying glass come up, and then the tile can be moved to whichever organisation that you want them to put it to. Same task again if you want to share the blocks once you've completed the task. Very simply, go into Outlook and share to all students. It saves the students have to take down stuff from the board, they just have it. This is a separate Padlet that has been organised just to have 3 columns. In this instance, it's about separating the tasks, the work into 3 different sections, primary, secondary and tertiary. The columns are built into it, and that is just done from the settings at the very beginning. Rather than having a blank template, I've gone for a 3-column template. And again, you could get the students to separate this. And once you've made one template, you could easily just edit it accordingly for other tasks and topics.